Hello, my name is Whitney Apel, and today I am going to be presenting on how self-esteem mediates the relationship between imposter syndrome and a student's GPA. So, to begin with, imposter syndrome is the feeling of self-doubt and fear of being exposed as a fraud despite the individual's many achievements. It is very common among high-achieving individuals, including college students, and it can negatively impact an individual's self-esteem and their academic motivation. For the research focus, this study investigates the relationship between imposter syndrome, self-esteem, and then the effect on the academic performance, such as the GPA and undergraduate students. I would like to examine whether self-esteem mediates the relationship between imposter syndrome and GPA. My hypothesis for this study was that self-esteem mediates the relationship between imposter syndrome and GPA. A higher imposter syndrome level would equal a lower self-esteem, which would then equal a lower GPA. So for my method with the participants for this survey, I chose to conduct a survey on 180 undergraduate students, ages ranging from 18 to 26 at Idaho State University. For the recruitment process, we would send a campus-wide email and then choose random selection upon that based off of the ones who responded. For the incentive, I chose to give extra credit in a class that they chose, and then they could receive extra credit for that class. For the materials, we would be using the Clance Imposter Phenomenon Scale, the CIPS. It is a 20-item self-report questionnaire measuring an individual's imposter syndrome. We would also use the Rosenberg Self-Esteem Scale, which is a 10-item scale measuring self-esteem. And then lastly, we would have the students self-report their GPAs as well. For the procedure, we would do an online survey via a secure platform. The survey would be formatted with questions beginning with informed consent. It would then go to demographic questions. It then would go into the CIPS questions for the imposter syndrome, leading into the self-esteem questions, which is the RSES scale. And then in the end, they would self-report their GPAs. This would then take the participants about 10 minutes in total. For the analysis plan, we would use the CIPS scoring, which is a 5-point scale. 1 is not at all true, 5 is very true. The total score range would be 20 to 100. Obviously, the higher the score, it would indicate the stronger the imposter syndrome in the individual. We would also use the RSES scoring as well, which is a 4-point scale, 1 on the scale meaning strongly disagree, and 4 being strongly agree. The total score that an individual could score would be 10 to 40. Obviously, the higher the score, the higher the self-esteem. The GPA would be self-reported on a 4-point scale. We then would use Pearson correlation coefficients to examine the relationship between imposter syndrome, the self-esteem, and the GPA in the long run. Our expected results from this research would be that the higher the imposter syndrome scores would be associated with lower self-esteem and lower GPAs in the individuals and the participants. The implications from this survey: the findings can help educators and psychologists support students and clients better. It can also, understanding the impact of imposter syndrome can help inform and help create interventions to help improve performance and success of these individuals as well. And then on the last slide here, I just have my references, and yeah.